Hey, crypto family. So it looks like there's more choppy action in the market today. Bitcoin hasn't really moved much, being down 0.13% to $6,328. But the thing that's interesting is all the altcoins are still declining. Now, of course, Stellar is up 5% because they're still partnering with more companies. They had some big news come out. But most of the altcoins are down anywhere from 2 to 10 or more percent today. And you can see Ethereum is still underperforming, down 5.89% to $185. One of its lowest points for the year. So it's something to see. Bitcoin is still, maintaining this range right now, while other altcoins are continuing to decline. So that kind of begs the point, is it better to stay in Bitcoin right now versus the other altcoins? I would argue that it probably is. And we can see Bitcoin's dominance is actually up 56.7%. And that's actually the highest it's been for the year. So the last time we were this high was last December, just before it had its big rally to 20K. So it's crazy to see. I mean, you can see Bitcoin's rise this year, and then all the altcoins are declining here. So just keep that in mind, when trading altcoins versus Bitcoin. If it is a bear market like it is, it's not really smart to be in altcoins unless you're shorting them, or, like you said, you have pumps like these with Stellar, coins that have good fundamentals and good news coming out. So again, just always trade accordingly and always remember to set your stops. But looking at the chart analysis for Bitcoin, so I drew this wedge the other day, and you can see it broke just out of this and it climbed to a high of $6,434, and then it broke down out of the wedge and went to a low of $6,140. But you can see it's slowly starting to get back in that wedge. Now, you could say this wedge is invalidated since, it did break above these levels and it's still technically out of it. But it does seem, to want to maintain this $6,300 level. And that could be seen as a sign of strength, especially because, we do have this strong support here of 6,100, and it's always been able to bounce up after, going towards that support. So RSI right now is still a little oversold. But again, Bitcoin may have a rally soon or it may not. One of the other things I'm looking at is actually on the TD sequential chart. You can see this was a red 7 and it just started a new candle. Now, if this candle does end up being lower than the close we had here of 61.80, which, may or may not be likely, then this would make it an 8 and, a strong indication that a reversal is about to happen. Now, we could have a reversal, happen right now, but again, just the further down Bitcoin goes on this TD sequential chart, then the higher chance it has at having a small reversal. So again, we'll have to watch out for that, but 6,100 is the level I'm looking at right here, especially since that's where it bounced from here. So again, just keep watching that. And, I can't stress enough, take profits when you have them and always set your stops, because Bitcoin, if it starts going down and breaks this resistance, it could very well test that, low of 5,800 and then keep going to 5,500 or even 5,000. So always keep that in mind when trading. Now, I have two news articles I'm going to talk about today. One of the big ones that came out, it's by Cointelegraph, and it says, founder of crypto exchange OKEX allegedly detained on crypto fraud charges in China. Now, I know this seems like bad news, but once you read it, you'll see that he may not have a part in it that they're, suspecting him of. So it said Starzu, the founder of exchange service provider OKCoin and the world's second largest crypto exchange, OKEX, has allegedly been detained in China in relation to suspected digital currency fraud, local news outlets report September 11th. And it says, according to news outlets, Zhu is currently being held in Shanghai police station and will be released within 24 hours if insufficient evidence is found of his participation in suspected fraud. So basically what happened is there was a complaint. Basically, a shareholder complained to the police that there was allegedly fraudulent practices, which forced the police to bring in Zhu for questioning. So it was just a complaint, that some fraudulent practices are going on, and the police have to bring in Zhu for questioning, especially, if it's a shareholder and it's a serious case, like with cryptocurrencies, they're already watching those closely. And it says here, as Zero Hedge writes, WFEE issued tokens and sold them through their website. As a WFEE shareholder, Zhu can be held responsible for any kind of fraud related to the company. And it says, however, the investigation has seemingly shown that Zhu's company in Shanghai is not related to issuing the WFEE coin, Zero Hedge notes, adding that it makes little sense for them to defraud investors through a Beijing subsidiary. So basically what they're saying is, why would this huge exchange, this huge CEO, in charge of all these different coins, why would he get involved with a small subsidiary through a little coin? So it looks like nothing's going to happen, and they didn't have anything to do with it. But again, it's just the police had to bring him in for questioning. And again, this article makes it look a lot worse than it is. So hopefully nothing happened. Hopefully he's not doing anything fraudulent. But again, just something to keep in mind when you're reading these articles. A lot of time they're just FUD. So last article I want to talk about is one by the Washington Post. It says, get ready for big Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency industry opens a DC lobbying arm. Now, this is pretty cool because it shows that, there's some lobbying. There's a company or association actually focused on lobbying for cryptocurrencies. It says, the price of Bitcoin may be down compared to last year's heights, but industry officials aren't waiting for the next spike in investor demand to launch a charm offensive targeting federal lawmakers and regulators who've taken interest in cryptocurrencies. It says tech veterans and a number of high-profile cryptocurrency companies on Tuesday said they are forming the Blockchain Association, the first fully fledged lobbying group in Washington representing entrepreneurs and investors who are building off the technology behind Bitcoin. So long story short, there's already a lot of companies that are working with Washington as far as like getting regulation done and, making sure they comply with all the laws. So you have Coinbase, you have Circle, you have, startups such as Protocol Labs and, a lot of different companies that make sure they want to follow the laws. And then you have people who are starting this association called the Blockchain Association to form a lobbying group to basically, inform Washington of exactly what's going on within the cryptocurrency space and, explain that they want cryptocurrencies to be regulated, but then there's kind of a fine line as to how you go about that because you don't want the government controlling everything, but you do want some laws in place so big investors can invest and know their money is safe. So basically, that's what this lobbying group is trying to do. They're trying to bring cryptocurrency and regulation together so that they can coincide and they can be cohesive. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is just, you know how the government is. They want to control everything. So I can expect that the government is going to try to overreach and try to put like a lot of strict laws in place. So hopefully this lobbying group kind of, fights for the rights of, people in the crypto space so that it's not more one way over the other. It's equal and there's, equal regulations versus safety, for people in the cryptocurrency space. So hopefully they continue to do that and they just spread awareness so that, we can get included with the whole DC regulators and cryptocurrencies can expand to the mainstream so that big investors can invest in them. So, but with that, that's all I had for today. So if y'all enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, thanks for watching.